Hi, I'm Kerry Greenwald, Senior VA Loan Specialist here at Creekside Mortgage. So this is a difficult topic and often comes up in pretty much every transaction I go through and do. A client will call in the very beginning, starting the process of buying a house, and will ask, what's the rate? One of the most difficult things to understand is the interest rates actually never change. Rates are always the same day in, day out. What changes is the cost of those rates, whether it's a credit or a cost when you go through and get it. You'll hear what's the par rate, basically what's in the middle, what's being offered. Me being a broker, I have access to many different banks to go through and seek out interest rates. Most places will look at a client and they'll decipher what is the most important thing to the client. Is it the interest rate? Is it the cost of the rate? Or is it the payment? So my conclusion I go through and talk to everyone about is the most important thing is you want to even kill between the three items to make sure you're making the right decisions long term and short. I will ask everyone when I go through and lock in an interest rate, how long do you plan on staying in this house? Someone comes back to me and says, hey Kerry, it's really important, I want the lowest rate that's available, but I'm only going to stay in this house for 5 years. In that situation, the lowest rate's probably not the most important thing. It's actually the third tier is what's the cost, what is it I'm going through and doing in this situation. Because you're not going to carry the loan for the full 30 years to offset that difference in the cost of what you're trying to do to get the lowest rate available. So it's very unique to each and every individual, and that sometimes being the first questions people ask is sometimes one of the most difficult, because I say it's apples versus oranges, not apples versus apples. Because if you're calling someone up today to buy a house and it's hypothetical, it doesn't exist, you can have someone tell you whatever they want to tell you to derive at a certain number. It doesn't mean anything until you have that purchase and sale in hand. And now truly, what are the numbers? What are they going to be? What does it equal? And what we go through and do here, it's unique being a broker. We can go from one bank to another. We can use different banks that are out there to try to find you the best product, the best rate that's available, and use that tool during the whole entire process to keep trying to improve it in case things happen. Say a major event happens, rates drop, we can go from bank to bank, or we can go back to negotiate with that first bank to see if they'll give something, an improvement or anything else to the rate. So it is an important question. Probably the first question I would ever ask when I'm buying anything is, what's this cost? What does it equal? But in most times, it's important to get all your other stuff in order before that comes up, and then make sure you have a clear picture of what you're going through and doing. You can always reach out to me at any time. During the process, we'll go through and we're locking the loan. I will always contact you, and I'll lay it out, the different scenarios. You can make a decision what you're doing, and if you'll notice, I'll always ask you, how long do you plan on staying in this house? Because that will dictate some of that decision that I'll recommend for you to do. But ultimately, it is your choice. But I'll give you choices. You'll see 3 different categories, and you'll ultimately decide what's the best thing for you to go through and do. So hopefully that helps a little bit on that question. It might open up and make you have other questions. That's perfectly fine. Please call me at any point, anytime. So thank you. Bye.